Welcome to the Illini Nation pregame show. I'm Bret Beherns. Craig Choate and Derek Piper will join me live from Phoenix here shortly for our first basketball show of the season. We've been doing these pregame shows live for football, and that will continue tomorrow as Jeremy Werner from IlliniInquirer.com joins me live from East Lansing as Illinois football looks for its fourth straight Big Ten win. That has not happened since 2001. We're on our digital channel starting at 1:30 tomorrow, and that's normally where we broadcast the pregame shows here on the WCIA3 app, WCIA.com, the WCIA3 Facebook page. We're in those same spots tonight, so welcome to everyone watching online. Join in on the conversation with questions for Craig and Derek. We'll answer those coming up in a few minutes. But for the first time, we're also live on TV. Welcome to everyone watching on WCIX 49. Here's what's ahead on a jam-packed night of Illini hoops. We'll go until 7:30, then the Illinois basketball preseason special starts at the bottom of the hour. The 30-minute show, produced by Illini Productions and the DIA, features several behind-the-scenes segments with interviews from both women's head coach Nancy Fay and men's coach Brad Underwood, along with several assistant coaches. Illinois and Grand Canyon tip at 8 on WCIX 49. Then switch over to WCIA 3 News after the game at 10 for all the highlights and a live report from Craig Choate courtside. But we don't have to wait until after the game to hear from Craig. He is live with Derek Piper from IlliniInquirer.com right now in sunny AZ. Guys, it looks pretty nice there. Sunglasses on, Derek. I like that. I mean, we're jealous here, okay? It was in the teens this morning. Thank you for making this trip. I know it was really tough to get that assignment to go out to the desert.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking to come out to 85-degree weather when it's 20 degrees back home. Derek's got his sunglasses on. I forgot mine in the arena. They're in my bag. We were going to do a little bit to poke fun at you guys a little bit, but it feels good here, doesn't it, Derek?
Yeah, you can't see the shorts we're wearing, but I got the sunglasses to rub it in back home. Up to 80-something today. Yeah. Palm trees and mountains. We're doing okay out here.
I think we're going to start just reporting on the Illini from here. So, Brett, you guys and Jeremy can take it away from there. But it's going to be an exciting one here in about an hour between Illinois and GCU. So let's get into that breakdown of the big game tonight.
All right, Craig, thanks. We are going to break down several angles as we move along here on the Illini Nation pregame show. We'll hear from those guys coming up in just a minute. But Illinois survives, hangs on, and beats Nicholls State in that season opener. It went to overtime, and a lot of people were a little anxious coming out, excited to see what this team was going to be this season. Kofi Coburn, we'll talk to him in just a few minutes. He certainly played an impact in this game, as he has a double-double in his first game. Ayo Dosunmu, a little bit of a quiet night for him, all things considered. He did have 20-plus points, but he and Trent Frazier did struggle a little bit. Alan Griffin made a positive impact as well, but no one saw an overtime game coming against Nicholls State. Andres Feliz, great as well, led the Illini with 23 points, but it did go to overtime. Illinois somehow hangs on 78-70 as Nicholls goes on a 16-0 run to make it a game. Illinois finishes the game, though, on a 14-4 run as they improve to 1-0.
They gave us their best, so, we went in overtime. We had to, stick together. We had to put it together and get some stops on defense, to pull out this W. It was a hard fight, but, we're going to take this win and enjoy it because, we fought hard tonight.
It was making shots. I mean, when you let a team on the road get hot, they have nothing to lose. And everyone thought that we would win tonight. So, Nicholls State came in here chucking those threes up. They shooting it with nothing to lose, with 100% confidence.
All right, fellas, so Illinois gets the win, and that's the biggest thing about this. But what do you take away from this? And when you look back on the game now a couple of days later, Craig and Derek, what are you going to remember from this game?
I mean, Illinois had a 20-point lead with 15 minutes left in the game. You're thinking, all right, this team is going to be a team that can step on people's throats and put teams away. And then Nicholls just 16-2 run, I think, to close the game. And it goes to overtime. So that might impact thoughts a little bit, but it's game one, and a win is a win, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as a resume, no one's going to look back and style points aren't really going to matter. Yeah. Of course, at the same token, it brought up some revealing issues that this team has to clean up. Obviously, going out a challenging road trip against Grand Canyon, Arizona. Yeah. Defensively, they weren't good late in that game, and they didn't make a field goal in the last 5 minutes. I think offense needs to be able to find more ball movement and just get into more of their rotations. And people got to be able to step up and make shots late. Luckily, Andres Feliz did that in overtime.
Yeah, Andres looked really good. The starting five, for the most part, looked really good. But when you got into the bench, got some question marks here. So something that's going to have to be answered tonight and especially Sunday coming up against Arizona.
A lot of questions for this team, and like Derek said and mentioned, maybe some things that the Illini need to clean up. The one thing that really stuck out to me was Georgie Bezhanishvili. He had an overall okay night, struggle, did hit 2 threes, but I think a lot of people were asking where was the rebounds and certainly the turnovers from Georgie. Not the same old Georgie we were expecting to see, and a lot of questions on how Georgie and Kofi Coburn would play together. How are they going to mesh this year? Georgie played the 5 last year, really the only option at the 5 that the Illini had. Kofi comes in, puts up a double-double in his first game, looks really, really good. So how do these two players come together and mesh, and how does Georgie find his role on this team?
I mean, it should be freight trains at the rim. On rebounds, on contests, on block shots, with he and Kofi in there. And, you know, at times we had some of those things. You know, I think Georgie's, you know, I think everybody saw tonight that he can make a 3. He's practiced them, and they happen to be big shots. But, you know, if I'm disappointed with Georgie in anything, it's just quite simply the turnovers.
We'll talk about those turnovers coming up in just a minute, but how do Georgie and Kofi play together? And I think a lot of us wanted to see them on the floor at the same time. We saw maybe more of them on opposite rotations in the first game on Tuesday night. So, guys, how do they fit on this team?
Yeah, when you sign Kofi Coburn to go along with Georgie Bezhanishvili, the thought is, oh, we're going to dominate the paint. But can they play together? And that's been one of the glaring issues so far. The first 2 games, 1 official game, 1 non-official. Georgie does not look like the confident, poised freshman that he was last year.
He looks to be out of his comfort zone, and clearly he's being asked to do some things within the system that are different at the 4 spot versus playing almost exclusively at the 5 last year. But it's affected all areas of his game. Even when he's gotten the ball on the block, he hasn't looked, as you mentioned, that confident or comfortable. Just needs to find his touch. So that's a really, really good player. He's going to figure it out. We saw last year Trent Frazier had to adjust a little bit when Io was inserted into the mix, but that's a key early on because you want those 2 big boys rolling together. Yeah,
and it's kind of crazy that we're talking that Georgie's struggling. He did score double figures in both games, so he's putting up points, but it's those other facets that Georgie's really struggling in, and one of those is the turnovers that Bret mentioned.
Right, guys, and the team as a whole struggled with turnovers. It's like Nicholls State gave Illinois a taste of its own medicine, and we didn't really see that pressure defense. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later here on the Illini Nation pregame show. But for me, Illinois turns it over 23 times. If they're going to have a successful season and make it to the tournament, which everyone is hoping that they do and certainly has them pegged to do, they can't have that many turnovers. Was that just a mental mistake, or what do you guys pin that to?
Yeah, turnovers, it comes with experience. As we have the GCU band coming in behind us, this environment here is going to be insane. I wish everyone could be here for that. But turnovers that have been a bug for the Illini so far in the exhibition and the regular season opener. Still a pretty young team, though, with a lot of experience, so some of those can be expected.
Yeah, no doubt. Early on in the season, that's going to happen. And they come from a lot of different areas, whether it's Io forcing the ball in the traffic, Georgie trying to make dumb passes inside to Kofi. But this offense just needs to get on in more of a sync, on the same page, and it's going to come with repetition. But, man, in this environment tonight, they're going to have to be communicating and be ready for it.
I don't know if you guys heard anything that Derek just said, because I didn't. That GCU band is really, really loud right now. But we're only about a couple minutes into our pregame show. We got a lot more coming up after the break, Bret.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. This is live TV, the band coming in the background. That's a lot of fun, guys. That's what this is all about on the Illini Nation pregame show. We've still got a lot more to come here in this half-an-hour special. We are talking after the break about Andres Feliz. What a superstar in the making for Illinois. The senior pegged as the 6th man coming into this year, but he leads the team in scoring after the first game, putting up 20+. We'll hear from him next on the Illini Nation pregame show. 8:56. All right, guys. Welcome to everybody on Facebook as well. It's a fun first block here. 9 minutes from Phoenix as Craig and Derek break down this matchup between Grand Canyon and Illinois tonight. And it should be a fun environment. You saw there in the video that the band was coming in. They sold out this place weeks ago. And it is really cool. One of the best environments in college basketball. And I'm not just saying that because Illinois is playing there tonight. Go and YouTube Grand Canyon basketball. The students are nuts. I mean, maybe Cameron Indoor relates to that, and there's certainly some great environments across the country from different schools, but It is a lot of fun to see this environment tonight. I'm jealous of Craig and Derek getting to experience that because it is going to be loud in there, and how Illinois answers that and responds to that is something to watch tonight as we get set for tip-off. A reminder here, 7:30 tonight, the Illinois basketball preseason special airs here on WCIA or on WCIX. It is not online, so tune over to CIX if you're just watching us online for that. And then at 8 o'clock, stay on CIX because you can watch the game right there live from Phoenix. All right, anybody have any questions on Facebook? That's what I'm monitoring here in the studio. Hope everyone will be able to join in and really enjoy that environment. And free TV, Illinois basketball back on our air. We used to air a lot of the games in the 80s and 90s. Then Big Ten Network took over and took those rights from us. So we're excited here at CIA to have it back. Yes, Miles? Okay, yeah, that's fine. I wrote down a time here just to kind of get a gauge of where we're at. That was probably the longest block we'll have, would be my guess. Thanks. Oh, I didn't know if we had a prompter operator, sorry. Oh. So I didn't know, so thank you. I appreciate your hustle with that. All right, welcome back to the Your Illini Nation pregame show as we get set for tip-off here. At the bottom of the hour on WCIX, we've got the Illinois basketball preseason special 30-minute show by our friends over at Illinois Productions. They put that together, giving an inside behind-the-scenes look at the team this year. That's at 7:30. Then at 8 o'clock, we've got the matchup between Illinois and Grand Canyon. We're all getting set for that. But sophomore Tevian Jones not in the lineup tonight. He's been suspended indefinitely for a violation of team rules and academic policies. Jones suspended for 8 games last season for a violation of team rules as well. As a freshman, he saw action 24 games with the Illini, averaged 3.5 points per. Now, this is a big depth concern for the Illini at the wing, who could certainly use Tevian. So as we go back out to Phoenix live with Craig Choate and Derek Piper from IlliniInquirer.com, guys, how do you see this impacting the orange and blue as we move along here? Because for the foreseeable future, Tevian Jones is not going to be on the floor.
Yeah, Tevian's a guy that some thought could break into that starting 5 for the Illini this year at the 3. So to not have him, that's going to impact the team. I think that's probably the spot that Andres Feliz is filling in the starting lineup right now. But it's definitely a loss for this Illini team because he's a guy that can come in and he can get his own buckets.
Yeah, it's really disappointing to have Tev out right now. Obviously, suspended early on in the season last year, and for it to happen again. And as you mentioned, it's something that they're missing off the bench. It's a guy that can come in and make shots. 6'7", long, athletic. We know Tev's upside, and to not have him and have Kipper Nichols continue to struggle, it's a tough spot that he's putting the team in by being out.
Yeah, and something we were talking about before we came to the arena was that they said this is an academic thing, which might lessen the blow a little bit as if it were a violation of team rules like the previous one. So we're thinking a semester thing for this, but definitely a blow for the Illini. But Andres Feliz, he's come in and he has lit the lineup on fire right now.
Yeah, he's played really, really well, and Io certainly the best player on the team and has the best pro prospect. But as far as Andres, I mean, he's this kind of like emotional leader, this 6th man. That's what everyone thought he would be this year. So for you guys, we'll go back to you real quick here. Does he start in the lineup tonight, and how do they mix those rotations with Andres?
I've said it in the past that Andres Feliz might be my favorite player on this team because he does everything. Whatever you need, Andres can do. He's only 6 foot, 6'1", but he can go get a rebound with the big guys. He might be the most important player on this team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And really throughout fall, the staff was telling me, he's been as good as anybody, maybe the best player that we've had day in and day out. And he does it in so many different areas. Offensively, he's tough to stop off the dribble because he's so strong and tough. Rebounding at 11 boards in the season opener, and when he's guarding you at the other end, he's in your shirt and after you all game long.
Yeah, Cassius Winston said that last year after Illinois beat Michigan State that Andres was the toughest guy he had to go against all year. Hey, we still got the band playing here in Phoenix. It's getting raucous. We're getting close to tip-off here on the Your Illini Nation pregame show.
Yeah, guys, and that's kind of the interesting thing with Andres is where does he fit into this team, because he can certainly score and he's a big-time contributor for the Illini. And if he does come off the bench, how does that kind of mix up the rotations? Andres spoke about taking his role and kind of rolling with it, so to speak, earlier this year as we caught up with the Dominican Republic native.
is extremely valuable, and he does so many things correctly. It trickles down. It becomes contagious with our other players.
Something that I step up since my first time here, and trying to do the best to help the team, and do anything that coach asked me to do. I think that I have so much respect for that, and I'm glad he gave me that respect.
We'll see if he can continue that tonight at Grand Canyon. And he's one of the experienced guys on this team. Overall, they're still fairly young, all things considered, with several underclassmen. Only a couple of seniors and upperclassmen on this team. Andre's one of those guys as well. But I think one of the best things about this team is they've been through a lot. They have a lot of experience. They know what to do, so to speak. And I think that really helps them as they move down and continue to play this season, that these guys have been here before. They know what it's like to play in Big Ten environments, and I think that should help them this year, at least on paper, right?
Yeah, this is a very young team per se, with Andres being the only senior. But yeah, they've all been through it though, because they were so young last year.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah.
They beat Michigan State. They went on the road at Ohio State. Dre and Io and Trent Frazier played a lot together in the backcourt. Georgie's very experienced, played against some of the best bigs, in the country, really.
Yeah.
So that's important, and that should have value early in the season. That's why being able to go on a road trip like this, you can kind of expect success out of this team.
Yeah. This is a big test this weekend. This environment's going to be tough. Arizona's going to be tough, but then the schedule lightens up a little bit for the rest of the non-conference schedule. So this is an important weekend for the Illini.
I think you mentioned it and hit it right on the head there. That schedule lightens up. They have a lot easier schedule on paper this year than they did last year in going to Maui. They're not in the Gavitt games this year. I think that helps them as they can try and build up some wins. You still have to have quality wins here, but like you mentioned, this weekend really important for the Orange and Blue to take that next step and prove that they can go win a game on the road, go to a big-time environment like Grand Canyon and win a game. All right, Craig and Derek, we'll check in with you in just another minute here, but we're going to head to another break as we continue on the Your Illini Nation pregame show. After the break, we will talk with Kofi Coburn, the big man for Illinois. It's a big get, and I caught up with him earlier this year. Plus, we stressed that defense that we mentioned. Will Illinois be able to continue a defensive prowess? Will they play the high-tempo defense, forcing turnovers? We'll discuss all that next as the Your Illini Nation pregame show. Miles, I just dropped that sack because we got to keep moving here. 17-20.
What was that, Fred?
Tell Miles I just dropped that sack because we got to keep rolling here. We're more than halfway through. 28-56. Remember, everybody online, you can watch the game on our sister station, WCIX 49, where we are live right now on the pregame show as well. First time we've ever done this on TV. So it's been fun. We're more than halfway through now. We've got about 10 minutes left. So fun time there in Phoenix. I'm jealous, though, because they said it was in the 80s today, and they're wearing shorts, and it was 16 degrees this morning when we woke up or whatever. How cold was it, Kevin, this morning?
13.
13 this morning. Oh, yikes. All right, welcome back to the Your Illini Nation pregame show as we get set for tip-off at 8 o'clock tonight. You can watch the game on our sister station, WCIX 49. Kofi Coburn, the biggest addition to Illinois basketball in a long time. He looks the part. He's playing the part. He had a double-double in his debut, and I had a chance to catch up with the Jamaican big man earlier this year as he got set to suit up for the Illini. Take me through that process of getting here, finally, getting into a system, getting into school, and what's it been like?
It's been a hard process. It's been a lot of work. I came here in the summer for summer classes and summer practices. It's been really tough, but I overcome it, and I'm just happy that I'm here with these guys, and I built a bond with them.
Has this experience so far in college been what you thought it would have been?
Yeah. When I came here, I always thought about rivalry coming into college, competing to show that I'm the best. And these guys showed me different. They showed me that when I came in here, and it's all love. It's nothing, no bad energy, no negativity.
What's it like going against Georgie in practice, and how much have you guys played together in practice?
It's been really tough, Georgie's a really good scorer. He's a really good low post player. I always use my size to overcome my opponents. And Georgie's really strong and he's really quick. He got great footwork, so he taught me a lot.
You weren't here previously, but this team has obviously struggled, not been in the tournament since 2013. How much do you take into that expectation, and do you like that?
I love it because now we got to prove ourselves. I never played with that much good players a day in my life, so it's really good coming in here and adjusting to playing with so many good players at one time and trying to play my role basically and do what I have to do.
So we talked a little bit earlier about Georgie trying to find his role. What about for Kofi? How does he mesh with Georgie, and how do they work together on the court to maximize their potential? Because you don't want to shy away from what Kofi's doing. He's been great with a double-double in his first game.
Yeah, Kofi has been fantastic as far as I'm concerned. That first, the exhibition game, he hit some floaters that showed he has some touch around the rim, which I wasn't sure on him coming in. But he has been really good. But Kofi might be not the one, but Kofi might be hindering Georgie a little bit, and that might be where Georgie's struggles are coming from.
Yeah, it's a role that Georgie played last year as far as the amount of paint touches. But Kofi, you don't want to change anything he's doing right now because he's shown so much, as you mentioned. Hitting free throw line, extending jumpers. His impact on the offensive glass. He had 6 offensive rebounds in that Nicholls State game. Gives you so many second chance opportunities. And really defensively, his ability to impact shots. He's blocked a couple, and other ones, when guards go in there, that is a big man coming after that ball. So he's definitely made an impact in a variety of ways.
Yeah, for sure. No one wants to go up against him. As the Havocs, I think as they're called here at GCU, they're getting ready to let them in. They're letting them in waves. And this is a sight to see, let me tell you. They're going to be out in full force tonight, causing some havoc for the Illini here in Grand Canyon.
It looks like a fun time out there, that's for sure. All right, so defensively, you kind of mentioned it there, Derek, but Craig, how do they mesh defensively, and what does that change, I'm curious, in your guys' opinion, about what they do defensively, because we didn't see that high-pressure defense in the first game.
Yeah, they backed off on the pressure a little bit, even went some zone in the first couple of games, which they might use tonight, because we were talking, and Derek said earlier this afternoon that GCU went 2 for 19, I think, from 3, in their opening season loss to a Division II school. So zone might come out tonight. Do you think that might solve some of the defensive problems?
Yeah, it's an interesting look, an interesting approach. It's less of the gambles that we saw the past 2 years with the pressure defense. A lot of guys defending on an island on the outside. So Underwood has made sure to defend the lanes, and he said earlier this week that having Kofi, having more length on the back end to challenge shots and be comfortable with guys going into the lane has altered some of their philosophies, but it still has yet to be proved if this defense is markedly better because late against Nicholls State, that team was getting buckets pretty easily. Yeah,
they went on that huge run to tie the game and send it to overtime. And it's interesting because Andres is so good on the ball. Brad Underwood always praises Trent Frazier on how good he was defensively. He gave up no points to his opponent in the exhibition game. So it's kind of crazy that the defense struggles so much because we always talk about how good they are defensively.
Yeah, for sure. They've got good individual defenders. It's just what teams are able to do in ball screens and to really clear out the lane and put Illinois in a bind. And other guys got burnt. Kipper, Georgie, you go on down the line, even Io late in that game was having a hard time staying in front. And GCU has some attacking guards too, and that's something they'll be looking to do.
Yeah, so it's going to be another tough test. We've said it multiple times. Should be a good one here tonight in Phoenix.
And it all comes down to that defense. I think that's what everyone expects this season. Illinois has to make a marketable jump on defense for them to contend in the Big Ten and also make the NCAA tournament. All right, time for our final timeout here on the Your Illini Nation pregame show. After the break, we'll get Craig and Derek's prediction for tonight. What do they think about not only tonight but this weekend? Is Illinois going to come out, maybe go 2-0, 1-1? That's next as the Your Illini Nation pregame show continues. 23:40. Yeah, we should have about 3 minutes coming back. Yeah, 3:10, something like that.
Yeah, that's about right. What time left?
Okay, everybody, we have only 3 minutes left when we come back on the Your Illini Nation pregame show here. It's been fun. This half an hour goes by so quick. I think that's the crazy thing. You know, you get to talking about basketball, and I can talk all day about Illinois basketball and what they are and what we hope and what Illini Nation hopes they're going to be and what their potential could be this season. And I think that's what's exciting about this weekend, is that there's so much at stake for Illinois. If you lose a game to Grand Canyon, it's not the end of the season, but Grand Canyon loses its first game to a Division II school. That's not going to look good on the metrics later this year if Illinois wants to indeed make the tournament. A loss at Arizona really doesn't hurt you that much, but it would be great to get a win. If you could get a win at Arizona, all of a sudden you elevate yourself, because the second half of this, the second half of these first couple, 3-4 weeks to the season really is not that difficult. Illinois plays teams like Hawaii at home, games that they should be able to win, and they come home for a significant stretch. No Thanksgiving tournament this year. You kind of all lead up to the Miami game in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, as well as the bragging rights game. Those are the next 2 games against high major opponents after Arizona. And so that's where this weekend becomes so important, as you try and build and get these wins heading up towards tournament time. And we'll see if they can get it done. And we're going to have it covered all weekend long. Welcome back to the Illini Nation pregame show. We're in the final minutes here of our first basketball show ever. We've never done it before, so this is really exciting for us here at WCIA 3. And let's head right back out to Phoenix, where Craig Choate and Derek Piper from IlliniInquirer.com are joining us now live. So, guys, I'm curious, it all comes down to this tonight. Illinois doesn't have a lot of other non-conference high major opponents. That's where this weekend becomes so important for Arizona. But before we get to that and what's going to happen on Sunday, what do you think about tonight? What do you expect tonight? And what are we going to learn about this Illinois team tonight?
I think you could learn a lot about the team tonight. This is going to be an environment that they're probably never going to see again. It's a small gym with a raucous crowd, a loud student section. I'm not very good at predictions, so I'm going to hand it over to Derek for that one. I do think Illinois will win, but I don't know by how big.
Illinois is the better team.
Yeah.
They have more size. I'll ride with their guards in this game. I do think GCU gives them a challenge, particularly with the crowd. I think Illinois ultimately gets it done 74-66.
74-66, so that is a 8-point win.
8-point win.
8-point win. But I do think the weekend's going to be a one-on-one trip. I think Sunday could be a tough test, but they got to get through tonight first. I think that's going to do it for us here from Phoenix. It's been fun, and it's going to be a fun game. So, Brett, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Craig, thanks so much. It is going to be a fun environment, that's for sure, this weekend as a whole. Now, I mentioned that Illinois doesn't have a lot of other high major opponents. They do have that Big Ten schedule that comes up. The 2 games, they play at Maryland on December 7th, then they come home the following week and host Michigan. So some opportunities here for Illinois to get some wins earlier in the season, and that's what it's all going to come down to if the Illini want to be dancing in March. It's all leading up to tip-off here tonight, and the Illinois basketball preseason special airs here in just a couple of minutes at the bottom of the hour as we wrap up here on the Illini Nation pregame show. That's done by our friends over at Illinois Productions. Half-an-hour special here from head coach Brad Underwood, along with Illinois women's head coach Nancy Fay, with several players and assistant coaches in there as well. And then we're all leading up to the 8 o'clock tip-off between Illinois and Grand Canyon live from Phoenix. It's on our sister station, WCIX 49. Watch it there live. Then tune into WCIA 3 at 10 o'clock. The game's just going to be ending. Craig's going to be live on the court, and we're going to get some instant reaction from him after the game tonight. We'll see if Illinois can get it done in the desert. That's what everyone is hoping to see, and what everyone is thinking that Illinois has a great chance to do. All right, plenty more reaction tonight at 10. We'll do this again tomorrow for Illinois football. So the Illini Nation pregame football show will be live at 1:30 Central Time. That'll only be on our digital channels, so tune into that. I will be live with Jeremy Warner, also from IlliniInquirer.com. Thanks to those guys for making our broadcast what it is with the analysis that they provide. We've done that all season for football. It'll continue tomorrow at 1:30 on our digital channels, and then Sunday we'll do another pregame show right here at 7 o'clock, also on our digital channels. Craig and Derek will be back from Tucson. That's going to do it so much. Thanks so much for watching. It's going to do it for us tonight. Take care.